السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Another video with Mr. Wael Abdurrahman. Before we start, kindly like, subscribe, share, comment, turn on notifications. Let's start. Okay, so today we have December 2020 Literacy Test 1. الامتحان ده اللي هو كان موجود على الويب سايت بتاع ال EST ولكن يعني اتحذف ل one reason or another. فحقيقة أنا قلت إن إحنا برضو نستفيد منه إن شاء الله. أنا كنت عملت part 1 ل Literacy Test 2. النهاردة إن شاء الله هناخد Literacy Test 1 ونشوف الأفكار اللي فيه ونحاول إن إحنا نستفيد منها. But please يعني before we answer يعني حاول إن أنت تعمل pause للpassage. لو مش عندك التست اعمل pause للفيديو، حاول تحل وبعدين ممكن you can listen to the explanation later. Okay. تمام. Let's start. Okay. Opportunities in engineering. طيب. Several years ago at the regular annual meeting of one of the major engineering societies, the president of the society, okay, بعدين في non-essential هنا we can delete it, gave expression to a thought so startling that the few laymen who were seated in the auditorium fairly gasped. ولا which ولا whose ولا who is. هو بيقول هنا ايه؟ بيقول ان كان في regular annual meeting، annual يعني yearly سنوي، في اجتماع سنوي للانجينيرينج سوسايتي، engineers قاعدين. The president اللي هو رئيس السوسايتي يعني he gave an expression، قال جملة startling. يعني ايه startling؟ like surprising، يعني قال حاجة فاجئتهم كلهم. okay surprising. That if you layman يعني not an expert، تلاقي عكس layman expert. layman يعني حد عادي. اوكي بيقول ايه بقى؟ ايه who ولا which و whose or who is. طيب احنا فاكرين قبل كده when do we use who؟ we use who for people. okay we use which for things and animals. whose for possession، حاجة بتاعت حد جربها بهيز وهير، ودي تنفع who is. اوكي دي تنفع who is او who has. طب هو بيقول layman، يبقى layman ده ايه؟ people، شخص عادي. so it could never be which ولا whose لأن في verb بعدها، يبقى it is not whose. يبقى يا who is أو who has. طب we already have a verb، احنا already have a verb، فينفع أقول who is are أو who has are، يبقى it's definitely A. okay who. So that a few laymen who were seated in the auditorium fairly gasped. يعني فتحوا بقهم كده، استغربوا. surprise قال حاجة surprising، فهم الlaymen اللي قاعدين ايه؟ gasped like surprise، فتحوا بقهم كده واستغربوا. Okay, question 2. Which choice provide the most logical introduction to the sentence? Okay, فهم نشوف. Surprisingly, the president had said that since engineers had got the world into war, it was the duty of engineers to get the world out of war. حلو جدا، يعني هو دخلوا العالم في الحرب، فهو it's their job to get the world out of war. انتوا كان من اسباب الحروب الانجينيرز، عملوا الكانونز وعملوا البومز والكلام ده، ف it's your duty to get the world out of the war. طيب نشوف بقى which one is logically. Surprisingly the president had said that ولا what was said is in fact was. The president had said that what the president said in effect was that. طب التريك هنا ايه؟ التريك هنا في startling ان هو he said something startling، he said something surprising، هو قال حاجة surprising. يبقى we need this word، we need surprisingly، لأن actually A B C يعني B و C و D يعني تقريبا بيقولوا نفس الحاجة، ف I need this surprisingly عشان تبقى logical مع مين؟ startling. okay so surprisingly، so it's A. For 2 the answer is A. okay number 3. Which word best fits the meaning of the sentence? طيب we have, what should we do? We read the sentence. شوف هو بيقول ايه. okay as a thought it probably reflected the secret opinion of every engineer present. يعني اللي هو قاله ده it reflected، هو بيقولوه الانجينيرز في سرهم. okay comma for، بعدين حاطط comma however، بعدين unaffected of intended wrongdoing ولا innocent of intended wrongdoing ولا unknown ولا يعني intended wrongdoing يعني انت بتعمل حاجة متعمدة. يبقى however unaffected، قصده هنا however، خدوا بالكم هنا الاستخدام بتاع however يعني ليها معنى تاني غير however اللي انتوا عارفينها اللي هي بمعنى but. هي هنا however جايه بمعنى يعني rarely we use this however. just like a no matter how. يعني however هي معناها no matter how. زي ما اقول لك ايه however you like me to dress. however you like me to dress يعني no matter how you like me to dress. يعني ايا كان انت عايزني البس ايه comma I'll do the opposite. So however ايه بقى of intended wrongdoing engineers assuredly are as a group in their work of scientific investigation and development. هو عايز يقول ايه هنا؟ عايز يقول ايه؟ يعني ايا كان هم مالهم؟ innocent of intended wrongdoing. يعني ايا كان هم innocent هم مش قصدهم هم براء من ان هم يعملوا intended يعني مش قصدهم يعملوا wrongdoing. فممكن تيجي بمعنى هنا ايه despite بالرغم من ان هم innocent of intended wrongdoing. هم innocent of intended wrongdoing. ايه بقى the statement نشوف for the statement that engineers were responsible for the conflict then raging in Europe was absolute truth. طب what is the trick here in for ولا it seems that engineers were responsible. التريك هنا في was يا ولاد. بص كده الفيرب was ده اوكي حد يقول لك هو عايز ايه هنا was انا عندي verb so I need a subject. لو سمحت دور لي على السنتنس اللي هي missing a verb اللي هي missing a verb فحط السبجكت جنب الفيرب فيقول لك ايه the statement that the engineers were responsible for the conflict then raging in Europe was absolute truth. يعني هو بيقول ايه بالرغم من ان هم innocent ان هم innocent من الرونج دوينج اللي حصل ولكن الستيتمنت صح. شوف هنا ولكن the statement was absolute truth فهنا السبجكت statement يبقى the statement was absolute truth. طب انت عايز تعرف السبجكت اسال هو اسال what was absolute truth. ايه اللي كان absolute truth؟ ايه هو the statement. طب في B it seems that يبقى ممكن تحط question mark it seems that engineers were responsible for the conflict then raging in Europe was absolute truth. طب فين السبجكت بتاع was we don't have. هتقول لي مستر where هقول لك where ده بتاع engineers so we don't have a subject. The statement disregards that engineers were responsible for the problem. Again we don't have عندي هنا statement اوكي والverb بتاعها disregards. طب فين السبجكت؟ we don't have a subject. Only engineers responsible for the conflict then raging in Europe was absolute truth. طب فين السبجكت؟ هتقول لي يا مستر engineers. طب engineers was يعني نحط كده engineers was absolute truth يعني does it make sense؟ هل هنا السبجكت والverb يعني they يعني they agree together. عندك engineers this is plural was the singular so we need a singular subject. فالتريك هنا دايما اقرا بعد الايه بعد الاندرلاين. بعد الاندرلاين ما توقفش عند conflict كمل. لقيت verb اقف عند الverb اسال نفسك who او what حط الverb. what was absolute truth ايه اللي كان absolute truth the statement that engineers were responsible for the conflict. the statement ان هم مسؤولين عن الconflict. so the answer is A. okay for number 5 طبعا لو بصينا لها vertically كده هنلاحظ طبعا ايه dashes commas punctuation على طول. فنفكر في ايه في الpunctuation فكر في run on sentence فكر في ال non essential. طيب بيقول هنا ايه the profession of engineering which by the way is merely the adapting of discoveries in science and art to the uses of mankind is a peculiarly isolated one. طيب فكر التريك هنا فين؟ برضه هقول لك في is اللي بعد الإز دي بتاعت مين؟ What is a peculiarly isolated one؟ مين؟ The profession. يبقى the profession هو السبجكت. يبقى the profession of engineering وبعدين من أول الكاما حضرتك عملت non-essential كبير. أوكي؟ طب جوه non-essential which عملت non-essential تاني اللي هي إيه؟ by the way يبقى by the way ده non-essential يبقى which ده another subject و is ده الverb بتاع which. يبقى which is merely the adapting of discoveries in science and art to the uses of mankind. طب فين المشكلة هنا ايه؟ ان انت non essential يبقى عندي two non essential big one اللي هو من اول which اوكي ده البيج non essential كل ده كده non essential. طيب جوه non essential we have another non essential اللي هو مين؟ اللي هو by the way. طيب البيج non essential استخدم فيه ايه؟ كاما وداش. نو الرول بيقول ايه؟ A non-essential, we should set off the non-essential with two similar punctuation marks. So it is not A. طيب مين تاني؟ طيب عندي هنا dash وداش. It could be okay في C كوما وكوما. It could be. طيب دي حاطط كوما وحاطط داش. No. يبقى it's either B or C. طب ايه الفرق بقى؟ طيب هتقول لي يا مستر بص على الفرق. ان انت في B انت البيج نون اسينشال عملته ب2 dashes. طب والسمول نون اسينشال اللي هو باي ذا واي عملته ب2 commas which is good. طب في C انت عملته كله بكوماز. فايتس better ان انت تستخدم two different punctuation marks اللي هي داش داش للبيج نون اسينشال وكوما كوما لمين؟ لباي ذا واي. So it is B for number 5. Next one. Okay, much to our dismay ولا but to our dismay ولا since to our dismay ولا and to our dismay. Very little is known about it among those outside of the profession. هنا this is idiomatic expression. ايه بيقول ايه؟ much to our dismay يعني ايه؟ يعني حاجة أكتر حاجة مضايقانا the most annoying thing. ده expression بيتقال كده much to our dismay. أكتر حاجة مضايقانا ايه؟ very little is known about it among those outside of the profession. مفيش ناس كتير تعرف عن الانجينيرينج خارج الانجينيرز نفسهم خارج البروفيشن. هي اسمها much to our dismay مش but to our dismay ولا since to our dismay ولا and to our dismay. It's much to our dismay. فهنا idiomatic expression. حاول ان انت بالريدنج الكتير while you read a lot بتعرف الidioms. Okay, number 7. Okay, indeed, a source of common amusement among engineers is the peculiar fact that the average layman cannot differentiate between وبعدين هنا man's possession apostrophe s يعني possession حاجة بتاعتهم أو man's. طبعا that's not English. مفيش حاجة اسمها man's لأن man البلورال منها man. مش هحط man احط لها s كمان. that's not English. أو man معرفش نكمل. So the peculiar fact that the average layman cannot differentiate between معرفش ايه who runs a locomotive. طبعا locomotive بس تبقوا عارفين دي اللوكوموتيف. دايما بحبك تفهم اللي انت بتقراه. اوكي دي اسمها locomotive اللي هي العربيه اللي بتجر الترين locomotive. So indeed a source of common amusement among engineers is the peculiar fact that the average layman cannot differentiate between معرفش ايه who runs a locomotive and the man who designs a locomotive. طبعا this is parallelism على طول. في parallelism في and على طول تعرف انه parallelism. هو بيتكلم على ايه وايه؟ فبيقول لك الفرق ان الليمن اللي هو الاوردينري بيبل ما بيقدرش يفرق ما بين الراجل اللي بيران اللوكوموتيف والمان اللي بيديزاين اللوكوموتيف. ما بنعرفش نفرق بينهم. فهنا عندي مان يبقى parallel مع مان مين؟ man برضه. يبقى the man who runs و the man who designs. parallel structure دي. اوكي بلس طبعا ان مفيش حاجه اسمها man who runs. خد بالك هنا runs ده ايه؟ ده singular verb. طيب man دي طريقه تانية. اما هنا men ده plural يعني دي برضو طريقه تانية. men ده plural هتقول men who run. طب B مفيش حاجه اسمها man's. this is possession. انت عايز تقول the man's name the man's daughter. اما the man's who يعني مفيش الكلام ده. اوكي دي طريقه تانية برضو لو ما جبتهاش parallel structure. اوكي number 8. اوكي yet there is a difference between them. ده اللي هم مين؟ اللي هو the man who runs a locomotive and the man who designs a locomotive. لا في فرق بينهم. بعدين عمل non-essential هنا. A difference as between day and light. هو فرق ما بين الداي واللايت. في فرق جامد بينهم. عايزين في فرق جامد بينهم. طيب what should be done with the underlined phrase؟ عندي keep okay delete. طيب keep نشوف الأسباب. keep because it emphasizes the previous information. Yes it could be لأن أنت قبلها قلت إن في فرق. In layman, the ordinary man cannot differentiate between the man who runs a locomotive and the man who designs a locomotive. فأنت already بتقول لا there is a difference between them. فأنت بتelaborate بتبين الديفرنس ده إيه؟ جامد قوي as between day and light. Yes, it could be. Keep it provides a break from the formal structure of the passage. طبعا مفيش الكلام ده. Okay. Delete it doesn't add to the sentence. No, it adds to the sentence. هي وضحت السنتنس ان الديفرنس ده كبير. No. طبعا it deleted because it's irrelevant. No, it is relevant. So the answer is A. Okay. For number 9. Okay, we can read from the capital letter. بيقول إيه بقى؟ For one cannot but ponder like think. The fact that if engineers started the greatest war of the world has ever known, بعدين في non-essential هنا كده ممكن نشيله كله. They also stopped. بعدين them, thems, her. طبعا مفيش حاجة اسمها thems. That's not English. Them, her, it. هو بيتكلم على إيه؟ حاول تترجم. If engineers started the greatest war, إذا كانوا الانجينيرز بدأوا أعظم حرب, they also stopped إيه؟ هما كمان إيه؟ وقفوها. وقفوا مين؟ الوار. يبقى الوار تاخد مين؟ them ولا her ولا it؟ طبعا it. لأن them this is plural. her for female, it singular non-living. فالوار singular non-living it. بس كده. So easy. Okay. نكمل. Thereby providing themselves possessed of a power greater than that of any other class of professional men. يعني عندهم power أكتر من أي job تانية. بعدين عمل non-essential. مين بقى البروفيشنال men دول؟ يعني هم عندهم power أكتر من أي profession تاني، أي job تاني. زي مين؟ diplomats and lawyers and divinities not accepted. طب ملاحظين إيه؟ This is listing. He is listing. يبقى this is a list. طب الليست كده مظبوط؟ ما ينفعش. X, Y, and Z أو or Z. Okay. أو X, Y ده الليست اللي هو 3 items at least 3 items. الليست دايما 3 items أو more than 3 items. طيب B. Okay. Diplomats, lawyers and divinities. في missing comma هنا. It's not B. Diplomats, lawyers and divinities. It could be. حلوة دي. Diplomat, lawyer and divinities. طب ايه المشكلة حضرتك قايل divinities it's not parallel. تقول divinities this is plural. طب lawyer singular, diplomat singular it's not parallel. So definitely it is not D. So for 10 the answer is C. Okay, 11. To make the last two paragraphs logical, sentence 4 should be placed. Sentence placement. بنعمل ايه؟ Read the sentence in question. Look for a clue. شوف كده السنتنس دي دور على كلو. اوكي دي نمبر 1. نمبر 2 شوفها جنرال سبيسيفيك. جنرال حطها في الاول. سبيسيفيك it could be details في النص. اوكي بص على التايم بص على التنس. اوكي sentence 4 that engineering is a force fraught with يعني full with stupendous possibilities يعني wonderful amazing possibilities therefore nobody can very well deny. طب انا هقول كلو هنا اللي هي therefore وبعدين number 2 sentence it looks like a general that engineering is a force full with amazing possibilities nobody can deny that. طيب نجرب نقرا sentence 1 نشوف هنحطها فين. okay for one cannot but ponder the fact that if engineers started the greatest war in the world has ever known نشيل non-essential they also stopped it thereby proving themselves possessed of a power greater than that of any other class of professional men. حلو جدا. بعدين في non-essential اللي هو الليست يعني بيمتلكوا greater power. طيب ايه greater power دي؟ جرب بقى تحط هنا sentence دي that engineering is a force full with أو fraught with stupendous possibilities therefore نتيجة ان هو عندهم greater power عندهم power greater than any other profession فنتيجة ده ان هم nobody can deny that they have this stupendous possibilities. It could be. طب كمل بعدها that it is a force generally exercised. الفورس شوف ماشي logical ازاي that it is a force generally exercised for good. بعدين في non-essential I myself بعدين non-essential تاني can truly testify. يبقى it's all about the power. يبقى انت قلت لي هنا الpower they possess a great power. بعدين عملت لي general statement in engineering is full with stupendous أو amazing possibilities and nobody can deny that. وبعدين الفورس اهي اللي اتكلم عليها وبدأ يكلمني that it is a force full with that it is a force generally exercised. So I think the answer is before sentence 2. جرب تحل بالطريقة دي. logic دور على clue شوفها general ولا لأ. لو general حطها في أول الباراجراف. Okay next one. Okay, question 13. Question 12. Which word would most likely capture Betsy Bailey's character? Okay, based on the context. جوه question. يعني أنا عايز أعرف شخصية بيلي كانت إيه من الباسج. طيب نقرأ الباسج. Douglas's earliest recollection centered around the cabin of his grandmother, Betsy Bailey, who seems to have been something of a privileged character on the plantation like farm يعني. Okay. ولا هي عندها شخصية privileged. يعني ايه privileged؟ يعني having special rights. يعني عندها special right. ولا revered like respected. Okay. احنا قلنا طبعا having a special right. Having a special right. ولا revered character يعني شخصيتها محترمة، ولا شخصيتها privileged يعني عندها مميزات، ولا inadequate شخصيتها مش كاملة not enough، ولا fanciful like imaginative شخصية خيالية كده imaginative. نعرف منين؟ نكمل. يبقى Douglas's earliest recollection يعني ذكرياته الأولانية centered around the cabin تتركز في الكابن of his grandmother. مين هي؟ بيتسي، عمل non-essential عليها. بيتسي بايلي who seems to have been something of a معرفش character on the plantation being permitted هي الإجابة هي being permitted to live with her husband Isaac in a cabin of their own. يعني permitted سمحوا لها، يبقى معنى كده ان ايه؟ ان الباقيين ما كانش مسمح لهم، يبقى معنى كده ان she has a right او special right انها تعمل ايه؟ انها تعيش مع جوزها في الكابن. وايه كمان؟ charged with only the relatively light duty of looking after a number of young children. وادوها light duties mostly the offspring of her own 5 daughters and providing her with own support. So I think it's a privilege. They gave her a special right. So that's her character. She has a privileged character. Okay? Question 13. To make the previous paragraph most logical, sentence 2 should be placed. Sentence placement. نعمل ايه؟ نقرا sentence 2 ونشوف زي ما اتفقنا. The real importance of his life to us, okay, of another generation lies in what he accomplished toward the world's progress, which he only began to influence several years after his escape from slavery. Okay, فهو بيقول لك هنا أهميته بالنسبة لنا هو ازاي what did he do towards عمل ايه لتقدم العالم، خصوصا ان هو بدأ يعمل ده بعد ما هرب من slavery. هو كان slave وهرب. اوكي slavery. تعال ندور كده. هو عايز يحطها before sentence 1. اوكي فدي اول واحدة بفكر فيها before sentence 1. طب is this يعني general statement؟ يعني دي general وبدأ ب his life. طب لسه يعني بقول his life you should mention انت بتتكلم على مين عشان تقول his life. ف this is a clue and it is not before sentence 1. طيب نشوف كده sentence 3. يعني in sentence 1 هو بدأ يعرفنا على Douglas earliest recollection. اوكي و his grandmother وبدأ يحكي لي على grandmother. هو بيتكلم على ايه؟ الستادي بتاعت دوغلاس. هو بيتكلمنا على دوغلاس، واحد اسمه فريدريك دوغلاس. اوكي والبلورب هنا او سوري في التوبيك مهم قوي التوبيك طبعا فريدريك دوغلاس. طيب it is تعال نقرا على 3. it is impossible okay in a work of the scope of this scope يعني صعب جدا في عمل زي ده. اوكي هو بيجيب لك تاريخه من ايام ما كان طفل، يبقى هي 3 after 1. 3 مكانها هنا. اوكي to go into very elaborate details with reference to this period of Douglas life however interesting it might be. صعب جدا ان احنا ناخد كل الديتيلز وبعدين نشوف بقى نحط وراها 2 اللي هي the real importance of his life to us of another generation lies in what he accomplished toward the world's progress which he only began to influence several years after his escape from slavery. ممكن احطها هنا. طب نشوف 4 بقى. enough ought to be stated. ده هو قال انا مش هدخل في الديتيلز، انا هتكلم عليه لان هو راجل اثر في العالم من ساعه ما هرب من السليفري. بعدين قال enough ought to be stated however to trace his development from slave. يبقى انت كلمتني على slavery، هرب من السليفري. وبعدين enough to be stated احنا هنحكي عنه امتى؟ trace his development from a slave to a free man and this preparation for the platform where he secured his learning and دخلنا على question 14. So definitely it's for 13 it's after sentence 3. Okay. طيب number 14 طبعا parallelism على طول لقيت and هو عمل ايه وايه where he ايه secured عمل حاجتين secured and ايه was earning يبقى عايزين parallelism. مين ال parallel مع secured؟ was earning earned has earned was earned يبقى secured and earned. secured parallel مع earned سهلة دي. Okay. Number 15. Which option, if inserted here, best supports the previous statement on Captain Aaron Anthony? أنا عايز أحط sentence تعمل support لل previous statement. طيب فين 15؟ Okay. دي 15. طب فين ال previous statement؟ تعال نقرأ من الأول. Douglas was born to the slave of one Captain Aaron Anthony. هذا أنا عاملها لي a positive. مين Aaron Anthony ده اللي هو خلفه؟ A man of some consequence. يعني ايه؟ يعني importance كان حد مهم. In Eastern Maryland, the manager or chief clerk of one colonial Lloyd, the head for that generation of an old, exceedingly wealthy and highly honored family in Maryland, the possessor of a stately mansion and one of the largest and most fertile plantation of the state. ده بيعرفك بكابتن أنتوني. مين كابتن أنتوني ده؟ أولا هو قال لك راجل مهم جدا. عمل إيه بقى؟ كان مانجر. اوكي مانجر لبلا بلا بلا كان هيد لبلا بلا بلا كان بوزيسور لستيت كتيره جدا. هي دي انا عايز حاجه اديني بقى ده كله. اوكي A. As a result, Douglas grew as a prosperous slave under Captain Aaron Anthony's jurisdiction. يعني هو اتربى تحت الرعايه القانونيه لكابتن ارون انتوني. لا ما جبتليش سيره الموضوع ده خالص. Okay, notwithstanding يعني in spite although his monetary success, Captain Aaron Anthony treated his slaves brutally and is suspected of being Douglas's father. طب يعني برضو انت ما قلتليش الفكرة دي خالص ان هو ان هو he treated the slaves brutally. انت قلت لي ان الراجل ده كان رئيس كذا مدير كذا عنده كذا okay so it is not B. Many people would come to Captain Aaron Anthony to either buy slaves or land. Nothing was mentioned about that. طيب the many titles yes ايوه كان عنده titles كتير قوي. ما هو قال اهو manager of or chief clerk head possessor هو كل دي titles only added to Captain Anthony's social standing in the community in addition to his wealth. Yes, this is the answer. Okay, next one. Okay, for number 16 معلش هو في مشكلة هنا في number 16. I think إن في mistake في number 16 لأن هو عايز يعمل combine which choice provide the best combination وبعدين هنا ال underline على حاجات كتير قوي مش اللي هو قايل عليها فهي sentence يعني we can skip it يعني في mistake هنا في ال sentence 16. Okay, فندخل على 17 على طول. 17. These fleeting visits of the mother were important events in the life of the child. Now no longer under the care of his grandmother. هو بيقول هنا ايه؟ بيقول fleeting visit fleeting يعني سريعة. الزيارات السريعة دي كانت مهمة. Okay, no longer under the care. هو دلوقتي ما بقاش تحت رعاية grandmother. Okay, but turned over to the tender mercies of his master's cook with whom he doesn't seem to have been a favorite. فهي مش تحت رعاية مامته ولكن تحت رعاية مين؟ شوف انت قلت ايه؟ ولكن تحت رعاية tender mercies of the cook. فاحنا محتاجين هنا ايه؟ الكوما but. So no longer under the care of his grandmother but under the care of his master's cook. That's it. Okay. 18. Okay. What should be done with the underlined sentence? Okay. Keep, delete. طيب نشوف كده في 18. طيب his mother died when he was 8 or 9 years old. طيب وبعدين قال ايه؟ her son sentence اللي وراه her son didn't see her during her illness. يعني شوف تحس ان هي ايه 18 مربوطين ببعض ف it's not طبعا بص كده delete it repeats the assertion لا it was not repeated. طب because it is irrelevant لا هي relevant الباراجراف كله على his grandmother أو his his mother how she died how he didn't see her. طيب يبقى keep it because it supports the main idea of the paragraph. Yes it supports the relevant clarification. هي main idea فعلا main idea it's all about his mother. So 18A سهلة برضه. Okay 19 تاني what should be done with the underlined phrase. Okay so her son نقرا من الأول her son didn't see her during her illness or learn of it until after her death. طيب keep it it emphasizes the previous information. It could be لأن في previous information كان بيقول لنا إن هي his mother died when he was 8 or 9 years old. بعدها قال her son didn't see her during her illness or learn of it. يبقى he didn't see her أو he didn't learn of it يعني ما عرفش إن هي ماتت ولكن عرف بعد أو عرف يعني during until after death يعني عرف بعد ما ماتت. It could be. طب keep it provides a break from the formal structure. It didn't break. delete it doesn't add to the sentence. لا it added an idea في فكرة ما كناش نعرفها. It added. طيب delete it's irrelevant. لا it's relevant. So again 19A. Okay. For number 20 it was always a matter of extreme sadness to him that he didn't know her better ولا excessive lamentation ولا grief ولا unjustified sorrow. I think here هو عايز يقول ايه يعني short is better زي short is sweet. It was a matter of a grief يعني حزن. Okay lamentation حزن برضه ولكن نحيب زي ما بيقولوا unjustified sorrow. So I think هنا طبعا كلكم عارفين short is sweet مش محتاجين ناخد word قوي. The next one number 21. Okay on colonial Lloyd's plantation, Douglas spent 4 years of the slave life of which his graphic description on the platform stirred humane hearts to righteous judgment of unrighteous institution. طب humane hearts شوف هنا ده عندي adjective وعندي هنا noun. طيب انا ينفع اقول tall comma girl في حاجه اسمها tall comma girl فانت عندك الادجكتيف والnoun. Don't put a comma between the adjective and the noun. طب هنا حاطط comma في C حاطط semicolon في D حاطط colon so the answer is B. Don't put a comma between the adjective and the noun. حط الاثنين ورا بعض على طول. Okay and the next one. Okay 22. Which choice provide the best transition. طيب 22 عايز transition يا اما as a result however keep that in mind ولا omit. طب omit يعني we don't need a transition here. طب نقرا هو قال بيقول ايه في السنتنس الاولانيه. تاني on colonial Lloyd plantation يعني في البلانتيشن بتاعت ليلويد اللي هي المزرعه بتاعت ليلويد. Douglas spent 4 years of the slave life of which his graphic description on the platform stirred humane hearts to righteous judgment of an unrighteous institution. ذكرياته بقى عن هذا المكان اللي ما فيهوش عدل. طيب don't read the transition. It is enough to say that this lad يعني this boy الولد ده with keen eyes and susceptible feelings يعني was طبعا ده non-essential was an eyewitness of all the evils to which slavery gave birth. طب في هنا as a result هو في نتيجة هنا no. Okay however في contrast keep that in mind. I think we don't need هنا أراهم I think إن إحنا we don't need any transition for this sentence. So the answer is omit that transition phrase. طيب اوكي طيب احنا كده هنكتفي بالتو passages دول هنعملها على two parts. ف this is part 1. فان شاء الله next time باذن الله نعمل part 2. فطبعا انا مش عايز افكركم يعني اذا استفدتوا من الفيديو ده يعني ممكن يعني نعمل له شير لاكبر عدد ممكن عشان غيرك يستفيد وسبسكرايب للشانل ولو عجبك برضو you can يعني like و comment and turn on notifications. Thank you so much. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.